Welcome to the Pulse of the Heartland podcast. This is Monday night NFL Week 17 recap. This is the fun cast here. So, missing a couple tonight. A couple under the weather. Joey, he's traveling. So, just Bryant, Ryan, and I tonight. So we'll hit the action from yesterday's games here, and we might skip over some because there's just some games that were stinkers and they didn't matter.
They don't matter no more.
Nope.
It's like, whose line is it anyway going on right now or something?
That's right.
Games don't matter and they're made up.
That's right. Hey, Brian, hit them with the socials.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Heartland Pulse, Facebook, YouTube at Pulse the Heartland.
And go check out In the Zone.
Yes, sir.
You can
We
find
got
us there.
articles and kind of our partner.
Yeah. Brian, what are you sipping on?
Diet Coke caffeine free, so I don't stay up too late tonight. I got work tomorrow.
Okay. Did you have to work today?
Crazy. What's that?
Did you have to work today?
No. Slept in a little bit and actually did some shopping and, of course, go and wash my car, and then it rains about 2 hours later. So, I mean, that was just
Nice.
a waste of $20.
Well, at least you got rain. We're getting like up to 16 inches of snow tonight. We'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yep. Ryan, what about you?
I've got water. That's
All
it.
right.
That's
Stay
it.
hydrated.
Remember every podcast when we first started, we had to have at least 1 to 4 beers. And now it's like, I don't want a slight hangover tomorrow. Better just keep it safe with some water, hydrate a little bit,
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I'll hold it down. I'm drinking a Big Friendly over here. I got a Grain Belt. So, Grain
Okay.
Belt Premium.
Hold on, is that just a nickname for it, or is that the name of the Grain Belt beer?
No, Grain Belt, they call the 16 ouncer. So, Grain Belt is the friendly beer, is what they call it.
Okay.
So, you can see here on the can,
Yeah.
the 16
Friendly.
ounces are called the Big Friendly.
Okay. That had some sexual innuendo in there. I was wondering what you meant by the big friendly, but
Nope, nothing sexual about it. Just good old Grain Belt Premium.
just smooth going down, right?
That's right.
There you go.
Well, let's hop into this thing. Bryant, looks like you're up first. Your team squeaks by again.
Yep. I won't even argue with it at this point. 27-24. Russ, you know what the sad thing is we made fun of Russ for the chart for how many touchdowns he's had and bathrooms in his mansion. In the Chiefs games, I believe combined he's had 5 of his 13 touchdowns this year. So I mean, literally, they're letting Russ cook, and he is cooking fucking all over us, man.
It's a good thing he plays the Chiefs so he can reach that bathroom limit.
Yeah, right. We're just being nice. We won't let him have the win. We'll beat him by 3 points still, but no. I mean, I think this is honestly the Broncos that they expected all year. Not even the last game where they played as close, because that one was kind of fluky. This one was a legit. Russ was playing well. He ran for a couple touchdowns. I'm trying to pull the stats. I believe he threw for one more as well, didn't he? Doesn't really matter. He played pretty well for him. It still wasn't enough. Again, for us, Mahomes, he did what he needed to. I mean, 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Not to sound like ungrateful, but it's that's typical Mahomes stats. And unfortunately, that's what he has to do. You're seeing where Spags and this defense aren't playing well. We had a couple special teams mistakes, which I think will get corrected. I'm not getting to the playoffs. I'm not too worried about it because I know we can still compete at a high level, and our 3 losses are the AFC teams, the Bengals and Bills, who are playing right now, and then the Colts out of freaking nowhere. But yeah, it's a bit concerning, just these little small margin stuff, because that's what dictates what you do in the playoffs. So I'm not going to act like I'm not 100% concerned going, oh yeah, we're going to be fine. But we got one more week to wrap it up. And I think as long as we can, depends on what this Monday Night Football game ends up, and next week. If we can seal the home field advantage, I'll feel a little bit better. But boy, it's we're causing a lot of mistakes, and it's causing us to just. I think our margin of victory the last. I think in the AFC West they said it was like 3.2 points. Like we're just barely beating this god awful division, and we've blown out some other teams like Seattle. That's a fringe playoff team in the NFC right now. We did blow them out, and it looked closer than what it should have at the end. But I don't know. Chiefs won. That's what I'm going to hang my hat on, and hopefully we can get that small stuff corrected and be ready for the playoffs here.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you win by in the NFL, just win your games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now the Chiefs and Vikings fans have to keep telling themselves that it doesn't matter what the margin is. We just gotta have the victory at that point.
I think after this week, Mahomes probably has that MVP wrapped up for sure.
Yeah, I would say, oddly enough, you could make the argument because Justin Jefferson didn't do anything and the Vikings couldn't compete. That shows why he should be MVP, but that's that's the game where we're down. The MVP has to lift everyone up, and unfortunately that's where it's tough for wide receiver to win because he can't necessarily take over games unless he's thrown the ball accurately. And I didn't watch that game. All I saw was early on it was like 14-3. I was like, no offense, I was just like, why did I put my money on Kirk in the Vikings closer to the playoffs than what I should have? But then
we'll go over all that again.
Oh yeah, no, I'd say, but to be honest, my only other option, and I'm talking about fantasy football at this point, was Jared Goff, and I'm like, do I trust the Lions going into the playoffs either? So I just had a huge conundrum this weekend.
Yeah.
So should we just jump into your guys' game?
As you say, yeah. Do we want to go over to the Vikings, get that out of the way?
Yeah, just get the negativity out of here. Fuck it.
Yeah. So the Vikings go to Lambeau. I think I called this in the road to 272. I bet on the Packers to cover that measly 3.5 point spread. I think they won by about 10 times that. So, God, I'm good.
Damn, you're good, Trent.
I saw this coming a freaking mile away. The Vikings go in there, lay a giant turd. I was driving back to South Dakota yesterday to beat this storm back here. And so I listened to it on the radio the first half. And it was just a bunch of weird stuff that happened, like kick return for a touchdown, interception off a deflection for a touchdown. Rodgers has a strip sacked. Kirk Cousins gets sacked. It was just a bunch of weird stuff.
It was a lot like the Colts game where unfortunately you can't come back on the Packers like that, where it was a lot of stupid things that happened, but it was a lot of the Vikings shooting themselves in the foot. Like, I still don't think Green Bay is that great after that game. I really don't. It was number one, they didn't even have the right cleats on. I guess the staff, the equipment staff recommended a certain cleat, and I guess got vetoed by some of the players, and they were slipping the whole game. And so that kickoff return, players slipping, not being able to make tackles. Listen to your people that know what's going on for that stuff, and your equipment managers. The tip passes. We had our third string center. We're running right behind our third string center. I'm not sure what the play calling was about on that. That was the stupidest thing. Our right tackle, he might be out the rest of the season too. And I can't remember if he was voted Pro Bowl or not, but he's one of the top right tackles in the league. So yeah, right now our line is just they're hurt. I don't know how we're gonna do in the playoffs with those two guys out. Hopefully Bradbury can come back for center, but our right tackle missing is gonna really hurt.
Yeah, that's been kind of an issue this season anyway. Kirk Cousins get hit a lot. Yeah. And now our offensive line is even weaker. So
Yeah,
not
but I
great.
mean, we're killing ourselves. I mentioned the equipment manager thing. That why not listen to the people that know that stuff? But again,
You act like pay him to do that or something, you know?
yeah, right. Again, running behind your third string center. Why would you do that? Apparently, he
Yeah.
had never played a snap at center in the NFL, so this was his first time doing in-game snaps. I don't understand that. We had Daniil Hunter playing coverage, man-to-man coverage on Christian Watson. Daniil Hunter's a defensive end. He's playing outside linebacker this year because of the 3-4, but he's not someone that can play one-on-one with Christian Watson. It's just stupid. And then we have 10 men on the field in the third quarter, and everyone knows we have 10 men on the field. And it's almost as if the Packers were expecting us to call a timeout. And did they call a timeout? No, we just let the 10 men play 10 on 11 and they get the first down instead of getting a punt. Like, it's just, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. I don't know. It's bad. It was just terrible.
Yeah, they've got a whole one more game to clean that up.
Well,
yeah, all the time in the world. Just like same thing with my Chiefs. Just one game, we'll get her figured out.
Yeah, clean it up, hit the playoffs where you're playing the good teams. No worries over here.
I understand the skill things. If you don't have the right players, that's one thing if you don't have the talent. But you're putting a defensive end on a wide receiver that runs a 4.3 40, and you're playing 10 versus 11 without even thinking a timeout. Like, these are just stupid things you shouldn't be doing. Unless I don't see that stuff changing. I think Donatel has to be gone next season. I don't see how he can keep his job as defense coordinator.
Yeah, like I said, none of that is skill stuff. That is like the defensive end on their best receiver is a scheme thing. That ain't have nothing to do with the players.
No, and that's stuff that should be easily fixable.
Yeah,
but it's stuff that we've also been seeing all season. So
say we saw the same thing in a game earlier this year when he was guarding number one receiver. It's just weird.
Well, and how many times did we see Jordan Hicks going against Lazard? I mean, Jordan Hicks is a fine linebacker, but why is he going against the wide receiver like that? I don't get it. But
yep.
I guess that's why I'm not a defense coordinator.
Nope. I really don't have anything else to add to this game. It was just all around pretty terrible.
Yeah.
No, like you said, I mean, the good thing is you still have JJ, you still have Kirk, and that right tackle, that might end up being more than hopefully it's not. But I mean, any tackle position, especially when you're playing against a strong end, which in the NFC there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of talent in those positions, but yeah, man. I mean, one more week. Hopefully, you have 1 week to whoever your right tackle is. It's kind of like what the Raiders are doing. Some of the others. Let's see who we got right now, and if we can make it work with our backup, or do we need to get crazy and maybe sign I can't think of who's out there at line that would could be able to jump in right away, but. I mean, at least you do have 1 week to get someone underneath the scheme and get some reps in before the playoffs.
The big thing I'm really worried about is our center, because if Garrett Bradbury can't come back, we have to sign someone. We cannot go with the third string. We just can't. But the crappy thing about Bradbury was he tweaked his back, and then he was out for a couple weeks, and he was starting to practice. Well, was it after the Colts game? I think it was after the Colts game. He got into a car accident and retweaked his back and hasn't practiced since. Yikes. So it's just bad luck on that.
What's Matt Burke doing? Think he'll come and play with you guys?
I think he ran for office this year. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he got elected.
Did he?
And most linemen, now that they don't have to force all those calories into their body and they get into shape, he's probably 200 pounds now.
Have you seen Joe Thomas? Holy crap.
Yeah. Same thing. It is funny because everyone, I don't think anyone really nowadays, they used to always just be, oh, fat boy. And No, these are all just amazing athletes. Just happen to have mass on them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved because I watched the Pat McAfee cast for the playoff games this weekend, or this for the college football games this weekend.
Mhm.
And the first game, the TCU and Michigan game, had you had three linemen. One was AQ Shipley. I can't remember who the other two was. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, I had two other, and so they just kind of point out all the stuff with the linemen. And the 52 on TCU was so fun to watch. Such a huge guy at defensive tackle, but he just, I don't know, he was just really fun to just watch. And they picked him out almost every play.
So, yeah, I remember when Kalichi from Iowa State was getting ready for the draft, and I can't remember what. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Look at him, ripped his shit.
Yeah, like Kalichi, when he was getting ready for the draft at Iowa State, I followed him on Twitter or whatever, and like he had a picture of himself like in the best shape of his life. He's like, I don't know how big he is. He's probably like 6'5", 325 at least, and he's got a six pack.
Mhm.
This shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, no, and it's just kind of like everyone is always wonders. It's like how does Aaron Donald do it? He is just so much smaller. It's like because he is just one gigantic muscle. That's why.
Yeah.
There's a reason why a guy that small can overtake men that are taller than him because he's got the lower center of gravity and because he's one big muscle. He doesn't have to worry about adding mass other than hopefully to help him, not get beat up as much in the trenches.
Yeah, he's that big, probably has like less than 5% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
All muscle.
So,
but yeah, hopefully, the Vikings, they've proven that they can beat anybody. So that's good going into the playoffs, but they've also proven that they can lose to anybody. So, and when they lose big. So hopefully we get on the winning side of that coming up here in the next month or so.
No offense. That's been the one thing that I think everyone, we always we've joked about point margin, but that's been the toughest thing is the losses right now, man, are just like you win by 3. It's the lose by double digits. It's like, Jesus, are we on the verge of that every single time? So if do we want to talk about playoff scenarios or should we save that for later?
Playoffs?
We can do it.
How about playoffs?
Playoffs?
We can do that at the end.
Okay, yeah, let's save that for the end then.
Okay.
We have to have something good at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, it'll get more positive. We got a couple fun scenarios here, but
yeah. So moving along here, the next bullet point here is the Eagles lose to the Saints. Doesn't really matter. It did until the Vikings got their ass whooped. Because the Vikings still could have got the number 1 seed if the Eagles lost out. But it doesn't matter anymore.
Do the 49ers have a chance at the 1 seed?
I don't think so. They have 4 losses too, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, honestly, I'm pulling up the playoff picture. That's the one thing I was wondering. So if Philly loses again, and they would be 13-4, San Fran and Vikings say they both win. They're all 13-4.
Yeah.
I know Philadelphia has the advantage over San Fran, or I'm sorry, over Minnesota. But
yeah. How would it work with San Fran and Philly if they haven't played? I don't know.
It's whoever has most NFC wins, I think, then.
Whoever has an Iowa State quarterback starting, they get the 1 seed.
Yep.
That's gotta be it.
So here's how the San Fran and Minnesota tiebreaker goes. San Fran wins a tiebreaker over Minnesota based on the best win percentage in conference games.
Yeah, so NFC.
Yeah.
So would that be the same for the Philadelphia
Eagles
and the
Eagles
49ers?
Win, they're 1. Doesn't matter, whatever happens. But if they lose, San Francisco can steal the number 1 seed from the Eagles thanks to their overtime win against the Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go.
What kind of bullshit determiner that is in the NFC that you have to beat one of the shittiest teams in the AFC to get the 1 seed? That
with their backup quarterback.
Yeah, they beat Stidham. They beat Stidham. So
that's how all tiebreakers should be done in the NFL.
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, that would be. Look, if you're San Fran, you legit have fallen into the best case of everything that's happening. Your top 2 quarterbacks get injured. You have a competent enough quarterback at the 3rd string. you're winning your games, even if this last one was by a slim margin, and then your top competitor lost their quarterback at least for the last 3 weeks, and you can jump into having home field advantage with a rookie at quarterback. I mean, that's just everything just falling in place for San Fran.
Didn't Trey Lance have another surgery this week too?
Probably. I mean, that kid's always freaking injured. It seems like maybe to get things set for next year. I'm not sure, but
yeah. He had had another surgery on his ankle yesterday. Ian Rappaport reported.
Well, best of luck to him, dude. No, don't wish injury on anyone, but.
Oh, it was just to remove the hardware, so that should be okay then.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, you spent so much draft capital on him, but Purdy is playing way better than he ever did. I don't know how you go away from Purdy.
Go back to Trey Lance. Yeah, that would be.
That's what I said. I think it'll be open competition, quote unquote, next year. But I think right now Purdy's the clear number one. Right now, you trade what you can get for. Can they trade Jimmy, or is he not under contract anymore?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I mean, if you're San Fran, I think like I've been saying forever, build around a young quarterback you don't have to overpay everywhere else like they are doing. Trade Jimmy so you don't have that cap hit, and then you just build whatever you can around one of those two young quarterbacks. Well, probably both of them. Why would you get rid of either one of them with as cheap as they are to have a competent backup and a legit starter either way, to be honest? I think Trey could probably still be fine, but Purdy in his few opportunities has proven that he can make this system work. So.
Let's just move over to the 49ers game.
Yeah.
I don't know how they let Las Vegas score that many points against them. They have such good defense. So is that just a fluke type game, or did Vegas figure out a weakness to them, or what?
They had no tape on Jason Stidham. The guy actually had some decent stats. 23 for 34, 365 yards, 3 TDs. He did have 2 interceptions though. So, this is the, I don't know why Derek Carr didn't do this more, or maybe I don't know why if you're San Fran you don't focus on Devontae Adams, but I mean he went off 7 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Why do you not focus on their best offensive weapon and stop him when you have a backup quarterback that you know he's going to try and throw it to him all the time?
Maybe they put a defensive end against him.
I hear that works pretty well. Oh,
I hear people do that.
Yeah. Golly.
Yeah, and the Raiders got up in that game. They were up by like 10 or 14 points pretty early, I believe, weren't they?
Yeah, they had a 3-point lead, it looks like, pretty much the whole time, or at least in the first quarter, and then it was consistent until they went into overtime, and San Fran did enough to win in overtime. So, like you said, it doesn't matter what the margin is. This is the first time they've really had diversity in a rookie quarterback. I'm not going to say he shook because I didn't catch this game, but I mean, when you can win on the road with a rookie quarterback, and come back technically in that game, they're looking pretty deadly.
Yep. Yeah, David says, is he the first Mr. Irrelevant to win like a Super Bowl?
I mean, he's got to be. How many of them just don't even make a roster?
Is he say, how many Mr. Irrelevants were on a Super Bowl roster? Probably not many.
I'm gonna look it up. Relevance.
If you can find that, that'd be a pretty specific stat.
Only one Mr. Irrelevant draft pick in history has broken through the pack to earn a Super Bowl ring. That player is Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then it cuts the article off. Wide receiver Paul Salata back in 1976.
Oh, of course. We should have known that.
So
should have known that.
People are learning things when they listen to this podcast here.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave, for that great question.
So, San Fran, I was looking at the remaining games here. San Francisco has Arizona next week, and the Eagles have the Giants. So I say that San Francisco has the easiest path to the number 1 seed right now.
It's all lining up for Mr. Purdy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've won 10 straight games right now? 9 straight, 10 straight, something like that.
Since they lost to the Chiefs, I think it's 9 straight games. But yeah, I mean,
They're
literally,
hot.
I mean, sometimes you know as well as we do. I mean, when the Chiefs won their Super Bowl, they were the number 2 seed the whole time, and then the whole Flores Dolphins tanking situation, they happened to upset New England, which gave us the 1 seed at that point. So I mean, a lot of this stuff can happen in the year when you think everything's set in stone, and then really fucking out of nowhere, San Fran that had a couple injuries, and okay, we have both joked, oh, finally Brock Purdy getting his chance and would be okay if he won a game or two. Now all of a sudden they're 4-0 in these games, and they're continuing the streak.
I don't think there's any
9 straight wins.
We didn't joke about it. I knew.
I think all five of us though knew that he would be better than Jimmy G.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, he can't be. That's where I never got where people were okay with like with Jimmy G thinking he was gonna. I mean, he proved nothing. Yes, he had a good win record, but I think a lot of people figured that it was he kind of reminds you of Alex Smith. Not as good looking, of course, but I mean, like, yeah, he
not as good.
But yeah, but not as good either. I mean, he didn't have the stats, and he like throws maybe 1 to 2 bombs a game. It feels like.
Well, when those games that they won in the playoffs, he was allowed to throw like 15 times. That was it.
Yeah,
like he's not trusted to lead a game.
I just saw that the NFL has postponed the Monday night game.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what caught my eye. I'm watching it too. Everyone's walking out of the stadium.
Yep.
Which hopefully, DeMar Hamlin, he is. God, it sounds like he wasn't even breathing. He had a pulse, but he wasn't breathing on his own. So,
no.
I mean, that one was scary. That was just a routine hit. He got up, he took about 1 step, and then you saw the lightheadedness kick in. But then he had the Tua head whiplash way back. Which it feels like now that we've seen that type of hit happen, now it was like glass shattering. Like all of a sudden, you've seen How I Met Your Mother, glass shattering, you notice stuff. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing all the times where, when people are complaining about, a quarterback being thrown down, how many times Mahomes and Kirk have been thrown into the ground, or Tua, and like with this hit, the whipping of the head, how bad of a hit that actually can be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I say, I guess if we get more details while we're doing the pod, we'll let you know. But yeah, it looks like it's done forever. Everyone in the stands is walking out, anyways.
Who employs Skip Bayless? Is he employed after tonight?
Dude, yeah, Fox. What did
he is? He's getting a lot of bad publicity tonight.
Yeah, good
what
God.
Happened?
He tweeted something about them. They need to restart this game. Like,
oh my Lord!
Here, I've got it close here.
Yeah.
No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant.
I mean, I get that you can have your trolley insults and way you go about it, but like he has just been catching L's left and right between not only that stupid fucking response that he just put out there that we need to restart this game, but also like, did you see that argument he had with Shannon Sharp earlier this month where he was like personally insulting him, like
saying he wasn't? Yeah, he's not a Hall of Fame tight end or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, dude, you're gonna like legitly get your ass beat one of these days. Like he just, I get that he has to be the trolley. No, I'm right, you're wrong. It's like the Stephen A thing. They both have to be right all the time, But it's like, just learn to shut your fucking mouth every once in a while.
Yeah, the whole thing with the Skip or the Shannon Sharp thing, it's like, dude, that's the other guy on your show. Like,
yeah,
if you piss him off enough and troll him and say he's not a Hall of Fame tight end and all this stuff, like, and he just says, "Screw it, I'm out." Like, you're out of a show, dude. Like,
the best responses,
tonight, he might be out of a show.
The best responses to him have been when Jalen Rose came onto the show, And he goes, well, let's talk about your stats. And he pulls up fucking like JV high school stats where he's like, you played 4.3 minutes and you averaged 1.2 points a game. And you're telling me my 19 points in a career, like he just went off on him. And of course, then he gets very meek and, oh, you're not supposed to personally insult people. It's like, you do it for you can dish, but you can't take. Go fuck yourself, man.
Thanks, Joey.
Yeah, I had to put this on the screen here. Joey says we're looking sexy tonight. So
yeah,
hey.
I mean that's a fact. I mean every single time, and people can of course catch it on YouTube live, or you can watch it afterwards. So
yep.
And speaking of Uncle Joe, should we talk about the Falcons winning by 1 point?
Yeah, we should.
Did anyone catch this game?
No.
No.
Was that game even televised?
It was somewhere.
Did they bring cameras? Did they even record this game?
Was this like that Pac-12 game from last year where there was only like 5 cameras in the whole
stadium?
Yeah,
they only brought 3.
They're
One,
all
they forgot to bring the plug-in.
Yeah, it was at home, so they left the cameras from the college football game the night prior.
Yeah. Yep. People are like, another Georgia game? It's the Falcons. Man, I'm looking at the. Okay, I'm sorry, Joey. Give me C.J. Stroud, dude. He fucking balled out in that game. Here are the top stat receivers in the game. The top passer for the Cardinal was David Blau, who had his stint with the Lions last year. He threw for 222 and a touchdown. Atlanta had Ritter passing, 169 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Cardinals had James Conner rush for 79 yards, no touchdowns. The Falcons had Algier rush for 83 yards and a touchdown. And then the Cardinals' top wide receiver was, of course, Trey McBride. He had 78 yards and a touchdown.
These are all household names.
Yeah, and then Atlanta had Michael
Hardman? Oh,
yeah, no, Pruitt, and he had 49 yards receiving. So I was just so I say all those stats. How did it get to be 20-19? I don't even know how you have that many points.
When you were saying that, I was like, was the game 7-3?
No, yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Field goal, the touchdown by Allager, Blau. Cordarrelle Patterson had his touchdown. Prater. Yep, and then it was kicks the rest of the way. So,
all right,
3 total touchdowns and then kicks. Jeez Louise. I'm sorry, Joey. He said C.J. Stroud. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're lucky enough, maybe you'll get Max Duggan, Joey.
Ooh, there you go. So, well, moving on from that, because none of us watched it. I'm sure to another game that none of us watched. The Giants and the Colts. Giants beat the Colts and clinch a playoff spot. So,
Jeff Saturday beat the Raiders, and we all thought he was a great coach, and he hasn't even sniffed winning a game since.
Yeah. Well, they sniffed winning a game versus the Vikings, but that was the biggest, choke job ever. So
the big thing on this one is it's looking like the Giants are who the Vikings will play in the playoffs, first round.
Yeah. And like I said, the Giants will play the Eagles next week to potentially take them out of the number 1 spot. So,
yeah, I mean, and you beat the Giants, but I always hate it's hard to beat, especially not a divisional team. You play those teams enough where you can pick them up and you can beat them a third time. But I mean, playing the Giants again, I mean, it would worry me as a Vikings fan.
There's a lot of things that worry us right now.
That's like way down. It's like worrying thing.
Yeah,
it's just like it's the fact that they have to go onto the field and not sure what cleats they should use. That's number 1.
Yeah,
that's rough. that is rough. But yeah, I mean, Giants beat the Colts who they're supposed to clinch a spot. Yep. It will be interesting this last week how it all turns out in the actual order.
Yeah, and then the next thing we have here is Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and Mike Evans absolutely goes off, and they get a win this week. They're sniffing the playoffs too here. So
this is one of those games or one of those like Yeah, the Bucks made the playoffs. It's like, and I just not even like I'm shocked that they did or didn't. Mine is about fucking time, dude. Like, how are
Yeah.
we week 16 and a Tom Brady led team is just now sneaking into the
Yeah.
playoffs after having to beat a hard fought game that versus a team led by Sam Darnold passing, Donta Foreman rushing, and then DJ Moore as their leading receiver, and you squeak by in that one. I mean, that is so unlike his teams.
They've already beat the Cowboys, or as at the beginning of the year, but do they have a chance to beat them again? I don't know.
Win's a win, dude. I
Another
would say.
performance like that, they might.
Well, I mean, the other thing is they lost to the Niners, who they potentially could play, and the Packers as well. You know, they did beat the Cowboys week 1, but I mean, looking at who they could potentially play as well, I mean, they've lost to more teams than what they're going to see in the playoffs.
So
Yeah.
if the Cowboys and the Buccaneers meet in the playoffs, who would you rather see lose? Tom Brady
Yep,
or the Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Tom Brady.
Ooh,
He's
I
won
mean,
too
that's a
many.
tough one. I don't even know.
I respect Tom Brady. I'm just over the Cowboys.
No, I get Tom's won enough. He shouldn't have been here this year. Get him out of there. Let's move on. He's trying to hold on. He's like, don't you guys remember Manning Brady 23? Remember when we were playing in Drew Brees? Please remember me. Like, and just move on. We're on to Mahomes. We're on to Burrow. We're on to Allen. We're on to Kirk Cousins. We're on to the next generation. Old man, leave for the love
Run
of
Brock
God.
Purdy. Come on.
Yeah, the age of Purdy has begun.
How awesome would it be?
Purdy will be the next Madden cover.
How,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
how awesome would it be for them so the 49ers and the Buccaneers to meet in the playoffs and Purdy takes old man River out again?
Oh, yeah.
That's who knocks him out of the playoffs.
I'm surprised Madden, now that you say like Purdy's going to be on the cover, haha. Why do they not make a custom like, hey, you can buy this for $60? What's a new Madden or Xbox game? 70 now?
70.
You can spend $70 and you can buy your hard copy or digital copy. Who gives a shit? But you pay $90 and you can pick whatever athlete and you can put it on that cover and on that load screen. You think that'd be the easiest thing, and you could just, I'm going to buy my Brock Purdy edition, or my Brees Hall one or whoever, Mahomes, You think that'd be something they could easily integrate in and get a few bucks, since they're all for microtransactions.
I mean,
that seems like the ultimate microtransaction.
If it's digital download, like, yeah, how could you not pick whatever you want to put on the cover that's on your screen when it's loading? How can they not do that?
I want the Pat McAfee edition, and it's in him in his Colt uniform punting the ball away.
I'm putting a left tackle on there.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. You would think that would be the easiest way to $5, and you can buy. Who cares? Buy as many as you want. Randomize it. Select your favorites.
Get your favorite long snapper on there.
Yeah.
But like, don't they have like, I see it on NBA TikToks all the time. Isn't there like you can buy certain like card packs and you can buy? I mean, that would be, I think, EA. If you go with this, I get 1% of all of the earnings you get from this. You think that you'd be able to sell packs and then you could, hey, select your favorite. Oh, you got the Mahomes one, favorite it, and now he's your home screen or something.
And like, here's a stupid thought. And how they do like Pro Bowl voting nowadays, just go off of that. Whoever is on the selected the most for their digital download copy cover gets in the Pro Bowl.
$20. You bought Madden Chiefs edition. All the Chiefs players are automatically built in. I mean, I feel like a fucking genius right now. And why is EA not doing this? EA, I'm going to patent this shit as well. I don't know how.
They're like,
I'm going to figure out a way.
If EA does this next year, Pulse of the Heartland is coming after you.
January 2nd, 2023, history was made because EA stole our idea.
EA is like the ultimate gouging company too, so they will do this.
Yeah.
I don't know how that wouldn't be an idea they already have.
They're like, 5 bozos that have a podcast that is made about $50. Yeah, good luck coming after us.
Yeah.
You know what it is? The NFL stepped in and they're like, guys, we can't be too greedy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NFL talking about greed to EA, and then they all just laugh as they're sitting in their piles of money that are their desk chairs.
Yep.
Golly.
So next up, we have the Lions beating the Bears. So Lions and the Packers will meet in Lambeau Field this Sunday. I believe that got flexed to Sunday Night Football. Winner gets in.
Yeah. So did you see the scheduling for these games this weekend?
No, I just saw that got flexed.
So it's a little, I don't know, it's a little fishy to me. You have Seattle, who is still in it. They're playing at noon, I think. So if Seattle wins their game, Detroit's out of the playoffs. So what is Detroit going to play for if Seattle wins?
Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Just to the fact that they can beat the Packers and keep them out.
To me, it feels like those games should be going on at the same time, so you don't have any. What's the point?
But it's still going to be a competitive game because Detroit's been playing well, and like Trent said, it's still a divisional game. They're still going to want to beat the fuck out of Rodgers. It doesn't matter if they've been eliminated or not. They're going to go if with now that Rodgers had a chance, we're going to kick him out of the playoffs. Even if they weren't, they're going to go, I'm going to beat the fuck out of Rodgers while he's down because this is the time we need to.
That's hopefully everyone hates the Packers as much as the Vikings and Chicago fans do. Hopefully Detroit organization dislikes them as much.
They only have the Motor City Miracle or whatever the fuck it's called, where it's like, well, Rodgers is about done, and he hucks it fucking 80 yards downfield on that Hail Mary and on Monday Night Football. I'm sure that's still fresh in their memory.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that'll be a good one. I mean, again, with the Lions killing the Bears, the one thing noted in here, Fields running too much, wearing him down. I mean, this is unfortunately you've seen Lamar get broke down before because of all the running. I mean, I think it's just naturally part. In college, I think you can. I think you schematically you can create these runs that aren't going to put your guy in as a big of a situation. But in pro football, everyone's the best of the best, and they're going to hit them, and they're going to hit them hard as they're legally allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost guarantee that it's taken a toll on them finally.
Yeah, and with a running quarterback like that and the injuries, they're out of the playoffs. They have one game left. Like, shut him down. Don't risk it.
Yeah. Yep.
I agree.
If he tears an ACL, say out for a year, there's next year he's done for too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's gonna have to. Well, they're gonna first of all have to get him some receivers. But yeah, he's gonna have to learn to be a passing quarterback a little bit because he's not gonna make it 17 games, whether it's getting injured or just getting tired. He's just not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, it's hard to hold up.
Plus, as someone who's a big meat eater, a vegan, he's not going to be able to have enough energy the whole season. Come on.
He's a vegan?
Yeah, he's a vegan, I guess.
Oh, my God. My opinion of him is going down by the minute.
Did not know this. And as much as we like
smoking
meats in our pit bosses, I say we don't talk about Justin Fields or the Bears ever again.
Yeah, all I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to speak negatively about him until he starts eating meat. I want to speak positively about him, but I learned he's a vegan, so.
Yeah, he said Fields went vegan back in May of 2020 when he was quarantined with his family, and they set out to eat plant-based as a 1-month challenge.
And he kept doing it?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, cool. I see.
Surely with that new lifestyle, he won a championship at Ohio State, right?
Oh, don't think he did.
Well, he led his team to the playoffs in the pros, right?
Don't think he did.
Maybe,
but wasn't a month of that enough?
Yeah, I'd be sick of it.
God.
I could probably stand to do a few months of veganism, but I don't want to.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
I just can't imagine, you're seeing all these. Has anyone had the plant-based meats yet?
No, I refuse.
I've had one Impossible Whopper, and to be honest, I couldn't tell the difference on a Whopper with all these other flavors, so I couldn't tell. I see these Impossible Meats at like Hy-Vee, and I want to try one just to be like, so I can shit on it. To be honest, like I want to have an opinion, but I need to try it. Otherwise, I guess I can't. Maybe he has these. Well, no offense, rich people, they can buy anything that tastes like anything now because they can afford that, whatever the Wagyu of fucking vegetarian meat substitutes is.
There's no such thing, Bryant. There's just no such thing.
Have you seen the South Park episode where Randy's eating the Impossible Whopper? He's just then they make their own. Well, it's when he has his Tegrity weed farm, and then he makes his own made out of weed, and he's just like eating the Impossible Whopper in burger. This tastes like shit. They're like, that's the point.
Oh god, that those divulge from the Bears sucking to their. Now we know why, because their quarterback's vegan. I've just heard of a few people that have like done vegan and then they revert back because I just never feel like they can get enough protein or enough energy from it to be able to sustain it for a whole season, And that legit might be where he's breaking down this late in the year. You've had your ass has been getting beat for 4 months minimum, and you have to get all these. I don't know. I have enough calorie intake, but
I guess back in like high school and stuff, Katrina, so my wife, she wasn't necessarily vegetarian. Like I don't think she called herself a vegetarian. She just didn't eat meat. Like she didn't like it. But then she went to basic training, and I think they took care of that. Because you don't get that choice in basic training, and she's not like that anymore. So
in basic training, you can't go, I want a kosher meal for or whatever you got to say for one of those.
They put what's in front of you and you eat it or you starve, I believe.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I guess at that point, anyone's probably going to be beat out of, I'm only going to eat plants, but interesting. So.
Well, we talked about Justin Fields sucking. Next on the list is Carson Wentz. I see what we did there, just going from one quarterback to the next. But Washington, they did have some playoff hopes, but
Ron Rivera didn't know that.
Yeah. Probably should have beat the Browns.
I do not understand why they went with Wentz. Like, why?
I don't either.
Heineke had one not great game. It wasn't even a terrible game, and then they switched to Wentz. I understand Wentz's ceiling might be like this compared to this with Heineke, but his floor is so low.
Yeah, I feel like Heineke at least manages. He's a game manager, takes care of the ball. Mm-hmm. He's not going to exactly score a ton of points, but he's not going to exactly just go out there and just lose a game for you.
Yeah, and Washington has a pretty decent defense. So as long as your quarterback isn't throwing 3 interceptions, that happened this week with Wentz. I believe he threw 3 interceptions. Things are a little bit more difficult.
Here's what David just said. I guess that safety Hamlin is in critical condition right now. So I guess it's, compared to what we saw on the field, having CPR, that's good news right now. So better than the alternative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Let's go over to see what Skip Bayless has to say.
Yeah. Get the teams back on the field, Skip.
If you go over
his latest tweet is, nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to.
We must all be so stupid to misunderstand that in the same way.
Is his last tweet still up?
Yep.
Is it? I don't know how to translate it to that.
I don't either. Like I said, we all must be really stupid compared to him.
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't valedictorian, but I feel like I have some reading comprehension.
I think it makes more sense if you have the first 2 tweets. he didn't link them, you know. So people are reading the last bit of a statement of him because he does go in the first two. He starts with not exactly sure what happened with DeMar Hamlin. Both teams are shaking ambulance out there, you know, and he has another tweet and then the one that's catching all the attention, the last one. But yeah, I mean, just fucking delete it and just move on, man. I don't know, man. I hope. Jesus, in critical condition. Sounds like it was a cardiac arrest. So I don't know if this is something that they might have even. I mean, this might have been something he might have had prior. Are you know? I get you. You're probably the most knowledgeable on this, Trent. I don't know anything about. You know, if they could tell on that, and if he had an enlarged heart or anything else, that's just me spitballing. But he probably had something before this.
I would think it'd be some kind of underlying condition. I mean, but they go through, I would think in the NFL, they go through so much testing that, you know, something would have been caught. I mean, some things just are fluky. And, you know, if you get hit in the chest like that, I mean, it can disrupt like the electrical conduction of your heart and just stop it. You know,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's got to be something like that.
Yeah. And vice versa, you know, if your heart stopped, if you ever seen somebody hitting CPR or something, I've seen people go up to somebody in CPR and just punch them in the chest. It can get
like
that electrical
back on.
Yeah,
No,
so
well, when you have to do CPR for 9 minutes straight, that is going to be pretty damn serious.
Yep.
So, well, not that we don't want to continue on with that one, but we're far from the experts that we can remotely even speak knowledgeably about it. So.
Yeah, you know, me and Ryan are this close to being doctors from our degree in nuclear medicine. Just saying.
Yeah.
We're in a stress lab every day. We know hearts, right? As good as any cardiologist.
Between your nuclear medicine degrees and my degrees in finance and supply chain, I think we're just fine to speak on heart conditions over here.
Yeah. I think if we add all of our credit hours, we still have about a fraction of what an MD has.
Now, I almost had a minor in accounting as well. Does that help in this situation as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've got my bachelor's in healthcare management and my MBA. Okay. So somewhere in there.
In there we can speak knowledgeably on it. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, and between my X-ray and nuclear medicine, I think we've got this all covered. We should be, between all of us, we could be an MD right now.
You've really visually seen a lot of hearts in your lifetime, Trent, between myos and chest X-rays. Yeah. You know what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we can speak knowledgeably on the stuff that we know. That's where I think it's ever so funny that Ron Rivera can talk about, or when he was talking about his team, he runs this whole fucking thing. He's been here for years, decades in the NFL, and he didn't know he could have been eliminated yesterday. What kind of dipshit runs a team? Oh, we're eliminated? Oh my God.
Again, us five bozos running a podcast that's made $50 over the last year and a half knew that.
Yeah, we knew it. But man who gets paid millions to run that said team didn't know that.
I wonder if he would have known that if he would have changed his thinking on playing Wentz.
You'd think.
It feels like that was a decision from higher up, to be honest. It just like we're paying him money, and if it's a 50-50 call, you got to go for the guy that's making the most money. Because I mean, you can't even say that Heineke had the hot hand either. So it's probably like we're going down with the ship for the guy that we're paying the most money. Knowing the Commanders, that's probably the thinking they had. It's just too bad that Major Tutty he didn't get a win in his inaugural game as the new mascot for the Commanders.
What was his name?
Major Tutty, and he's
Major Tutty.
Yeah, did you see a picture of him?
I didn't. You got one you can share here?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
So I don't know how true this is. I guess I could ask my father-in-law because he's a Dolphins fan. But isn't the Dolphins mascot named TD? And it stands for the Dolphin?
Sounds
Not
about right.
touchdown.
They all have some stupid
It's weird.
fucking name like that.
It's weird to me.
So this is kind of a blurry one, but I mean that's the pig.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I kind of like
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Major
What-
Tutty.
Why the pig? Pig skin, I guess. Why the pig?
Well, they have those super fans that all dress up as pigs in dresses. at
Oh,
their
that's right.
games.
That's right.
I wonder.
Well,
yeah,
and-
it's got to have something to do with that, right?
I think so. Well, and they were like, I think there was at some point last year where they were like when they were trying to decide the name of it instead of Commanders. I think it was like Hogs or War Hogs was like one of the like names or one of the mascots in running. So maybe
Yeah.
it was just a layover where they go, we went with the Commanders, but we like that pig mascot, you know?
Yeah. No, I like I said, I don't hate it.
Yeah, no, I mean he looks cute and just
He looks
I'm
cute.
glad it's not my mascot.
All right. Well, next up we do have the Jags. Man, they pounded the Texans. They're looking at the playoffs right now too. I mean, no, earlier this year they were good, then they sucked, and then they're good, then they're sucked. We didn't know if they're good or not. Yeah, look at him. That's a better picture.
Yeah, that's
Dapper little guy.
Major Tutty. I like it. I like the name too. Yeah.
I think he looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I would rather look at that pig than talk about the fucking Jets again. Since
No, the Jags, not the Jets.
the Jags. Never mind. I thought you said Jets. Yeah,
No,
I like
the Jags. We'll get the Jets are coming up. They're next. Okay. So yeah,
Exciting.
the Jags are looking like they're going to get into the playoffs after beating the Texans, just as we all thought at the beginning of the year. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence playing good. I didn't see any of the games.
Finally broke the curse of these Texans playing teams tough. They finally pulled away. Lawrence did not have that great of a game compared to what he's had the last few weeks, but Etienne, I had him in fantasy, and he had over 100 yards and a TD, and they just, like you said, they actually just held him at bay and did what you're supposed to versus the 2-win team this year.
Yep.
For road to 272, that was like one of my top 2 picks, easiest of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a small enough margin, and even if it would have been 9.5, whatever the larger one, I mean, they just took care of business. So good on them.
Yeah, since I don't think any of us watched that game, we will move on to the next game. The Seahawks did beat the Jets. Don't want to talk about that one, Bryant?
No, just the way you said it, where you said the Seahawks did beat the Jets, it just reminded me of Happy Gilmore. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yes, he did.
That's as much as I want to say about the Jets because I didn't watch it and I could care less about them right now.
They're out of the playoffs. Who cares?
Yep. The Jets, yeah. The Seahawks, they could be in, though.
Yeah.
Congrats to them. Geno Smith keeping them relevant.
Yep. Next up, we do have the Chargers. They do beat the Rams. The Rams, they're so hit and miss with Baker Mayfield.
We got some film on him.
Yeah, well, they win about every other game, and when they do, they win big. If they lose big.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he just still doesn't have his top weapons. It looks like Cam Akers actually came alive for this game. I don't know. Eckler did what he needed to. Herbert did. The Chargers are looking like what they're supposed to all year.
Yeah,
is the only scary thing about that. And they're sneaking into the playoffs right now. So
yeah, the Chargers right now do have the 5th spot in the AFC.
Yep. Chargers at Jags right now. That should be a pretty interesting matchup.
Let's see what is. So they've clinched a wild card. The Chargers are in.
Yeah. Yep, and the only seed that isn't locked right now, because they can still move around, but the only one is the 7th seed, and right now New England's in it for the AFC, and Seattle's in it for the NFC, and those can change. That we'll talk about in a little bit here.
Yep.
So I'll be honest. Other than that, Chargers, Rams, who gives a shit? Baker
another game I didn't watch.
Usual.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, they win last night at the last minute versus Baltimore, correct? Didn't they play them?
Yeah. What I tell you though, Trent, Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons.
No. What's their record? Do they have to win?
It's 8-8 now. They need
All
to
right,
win.
so they do need a win here in week 18 to continue that.
And I think they're playing Cleveland, so it should be possible.
Let's see here. I can Pittsburgh 8-8, and they do have they have the Browns this weekend.
Yeah, isn't the 7th seed kind of between them and New England?
So right now New England is in the 7th seed. They are 8-8. Pittsburgh is also 8-8. The Dolphins are also 8-8. So
Dolphins
there's
are dead.
2 8-8 teams could get in here.
Tua's not coming back this week. Teddy's got a broken finger on his throwing hand, so Miami's dead.
Unless the pride of Manhattan, Kansas, Skylar Thompson couldn't even beat Iowa State.
There's so many.
They would have a better chance bringing in Colin Klein.
He's too busy calling plays.
He's their offensive coordinator, man. Too busy getting demolished by Alabama.
I think it wasn't Brent Bloom. I think it might have been Jared Stansbury or one of the Iowa State super fans.
Yeah.
And they're like, just completely random, by comparison. Brock Purdy's stats and all amazing. And then, let's just throw out Skylar Thompson out of nowhere. Fucking just throwing shade at fucking Kansas State fans. It's just the most who's the most mediocre off that we each finally got one quarterback in the NFL and we gotta compare them.
Oh man. All right. So now we are down here to talk about the playoffs. The playoffs? Can't even win a game right now.
Both of our teams are in the playoffs.
True.
Yeah. Right. And technically, but do the Vikings still have a shot for the 1 seed?
No.
Or is it down to San Fran and the Eagles?
The Vikings would have had to win out, and they did not do that yesterday.
If they win and the 49ers lose, we can get the 2nd seed again. The only good thing about that is the home field advantage for a couple weeks. But number one, we'd have to not get blown out by whoever the 7th seed is. And the 7th seed is looking a whole lot scarier than the Giants are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Unless it's Seattle.
Well, right now the 7th seed is Seattle if the season ended today.
And they have to win, and Packers have to lose.
Which again, I don't see that, man. The Packers, they just every year, Aaron Rodgers does a stupid fucking RELAX, relax. They go on this run and they make the playoffs, and that's exactly where they're at right now. So unfortunately,
just so they can lose to San Francisco again in the first round.
Yep.
You better hope. Right now, they're fucking on fire. Golly, how would you feel if you're Dallas and you're 12 and well? Okay, so is there a chance right now, if Philly loses again next week, that Dallas can jump and win the division, and then the Eagles are the 5 seed, or are the Eagles confirmed the divisional winner? I'm pulling it up right now. Clinched playoff berth. Yeah, so they haven't even clinched the division yet. So there's a chance that they could even jump down all the way down to the 5 seed.
Who's that again?
The Eagles.
Ooh.
Yeah. Philly wins, they get it, and Dallas can take over. That's crazy.
Because and again, imagine both teams win next week. You go 13-4, and you're the 5 seed, and you have to play in the first round because one other team in your division did that much or one game better.
And you'll be playing on the road.
Yep, on the road. Well, at the Bucks. So on the road versus a team that technically beat you. So.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I would say that. So we got that. We mentioned briefly the AFC first seed, which right now with this game suspended, we're not going to know too much. They're going to have to finish this game. I would say if they both surrender it, I mean, right now the Chiefs are the first seed. So, I mean, then it would just be, for us, it would be win out at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if they say would that just be a tie, or would they?
No, because the Chiefs
They
have one
couldn't.
more win.
Well, I'm just saying the Bills and the Bengals couldn't say that was a tie because that would benefit
No, it
them in
would. I think.
playoffs.
I don't. I can't remember what the rules are because with weather they can cancel a game, and I think it's a half. I would say. I think, but I mean, right now, say they cancel and go, we're not going to finish this game. Bengals win 7-3. That gives the Chiefs right now the 1 seed. Or if they don't finish this game, that gives the Chiefs the 1 seed because they have the most wins right now.
Yep.
So, I mean, we'll have to see how that one ends up. But I would say that this game will have huge implications on the 1 seed, depending on which direction it goes.
Yep.
So, other than that, we've already talked about the NFC and AFC 7 seeds a little bit. Detroit and Green Bay is pretty much going to dictate the final seed. Seattle's in there too, but
yeah,
I'll be honest, not that Seattle's not good and they're not relevant. I just think right now we've seen how many times before where the Packers take care of shit.
So if so let's say the Seattle Seahawks lose, whoever wins that Packers-Lions game gets in, correct?
Yes.
So if Seattle wins and Detroit wins, then Seattle's in, right?
Yeah.
And Detroit and Packers aren't in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, what was the other ones we were going to talk about? Oh, yeah, we mentioned briefly New England, Miami, Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Who of those four do you think is in? I mean, I personally still think it's the Patriots, but
like I said in Road to 272, that's why I picked the Patriots to win that game against the Dolphins. So I'm like, Bill Belichick's going to back into the playoffs. It's going to happen.
Who's New England playing?
This week?
Yeah. The Bills. New England's not beating the Bills.
Ooh, shit. So that actually Browns at Steelers.
Yeah, I think it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I said Road to 272. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and he won't this season. I'm standing behind that. I don't see New England beating.
You don't know. Well, I mean, you got to think of it this way though. With this game, how are they going to postpone it? Are they going to play it? And then even if they don't postpone it, how are the Bills going to be with a starting safety down, a guy that they've been playing close to, and they have to play the following week versus division rival, I believe, on the road? Let me just confirm it real quick. No, at home. So, I mean, they will have a home game, but, I mean, that could affect them pretty harshly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I won't count New England out, especially with all these extracurricular activities going on, but, I mean, you got to be realistic with it, too. I think Miami's out.
Miami plays the Jets. The Jets haven't looked good lately, though. I think Miami doesn't really have a quarterback, but
yeah, I mean, still think they can beat the Jets.
Jets have been terrible.
Yeah, they lost their best running back early in the year. What are you going to do?
I know it.
So,
let's see here. It looks like
does offensive rookie of the year go from Breece Hall to Brock Purdy now?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so. The Jets, I can't remember his name. The Jets have that wide receiver that's, I think, probably in first place for offensive rookie of the year. Yes. But if Brock Purdy, say, gets into the playoffs and wins a game or two in the playoffs, do you think he leapfrogs him and wins offensive rookie of the year?
All right. Isn't that supposed to be a regular season award, though?
Yeah, but if he ends the year 6-0, I mean, that's pretty tough, no matter what the stats are, Yeah. And like we've said, he's been a game manager, so he hasn't really thrown – it's not like 11 touchdowns, 10 receptions. It's like 11 touchdowns, 2 to 3.
He has one interception, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or 2.
I think he's had 1 each week, so I think he's up to 2 now. So, I mean,
he has 2, yeah.
I mean, the stats just on paper, even if it's the end of the year, he's coming on strong right when you would win it at that point. Mm-hmm. And everyone loves the storyline of Mr. Irrelevant to Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's storybook, write it down, Brock Purdy.
I like that you said he's a game manager or whatever, however you said it. Mm-hmm. He is so much less of a game manager than Jimmy G, though.
Yeah, I just say it that way, as in like San Fran doesn't need him to be the hero. They don't need him to be the Josh Allen or Joe Burrow needed to be on those teams. They need those guys to have a large offensive output in order to compete. San Fran has everything in the bag. They just need him to, hey, don't fuck up too much and just toss the ball every once in a while.
One pick's okay,
So
three
you can make
picks
another.
not
What's
okay.
that?
I said one pick's okay, 3 picks not okay. Yeah,
You're cut, kid.
don't fuck up too much.
Just throw it to Kittle. You have your little Hawk Cyclone back and forth. They don't give a shit. Just have some fun out there.
Yep.
Make sure we keep winning.
Are we all on Jacksonville beating Tennessee
Yes.
to take the South?
I mean, they got Joe Dobbs or Malik Willis, who they don't even trust to start a game now. So
Yeah, Dobbs is starting.
Hoo-wee. Yeah, Jags in the playoffs.
At this
I'm
point, just
jagging
put
off.
Derrick Henry at quarterback and run the Wildcat all game.
Yeah.
He has a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, that's one more than Malik Willis. So he started 2 full games.
So Michael Wilson says, "Let's go Giants." Not sure if he's a Giants fan or if he just wants the Eagles to lose this week.
No, he's a Giants fan. I know.
Oh, okay. Well.
So, but yeah, honestly, Titans, Jags. I mean, and the Jags have already beat them. That was getting the monkey off their back earlier this year. They could never beat the Titans with Derrick Henry. So, I mean, Titans. They get a. It used to be they're a quarterback away. Now there's like your quarterback, a couple wide receivers. I mean, they're a little ways out. I'm not too shocked looking at now how they competed versus the Chiefs earlier in the year, but you see our defense now. Everyone competes with us. We just beat them by 3 points. That's all we do at this point.
And that's when the Titans were at full strength, and Derrick Henry was having a good games. He's been a little.
Tannehill wasn't playing that game.
That's right. That's the game where Malik Willis threw 12 passes all to non-wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting what they do to develop them this offseason.
Yeah.
So,
do they even develop him?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they have to. If he's only a rookie, right? Like,
I mean, what has
be around?
What has Tannehill done since he's gotten to the Titans? Where you're going, he is exponentially better than what he was at the Dolphins.
I'm telling you,
he was bad. He was bad with the Dolphins too.
Yeah, I think he was just fringe bad with the Dolphins, and then I think they got him to game manager mode in Tennessee. I don't think he had that much more of a significant improvement at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so I would agree with that.
Should we get the final question out of the way here?
Well, I got to read the final question. If someone told you before the season your current record, what would your assumption for the season be? Example, Broncos fans probably think Russ got injured.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately.
That's funny. I just read that right now.
I mean, I read that one on Reddit earlier, so I wanted to throw that in here because, right now, if you're a Broncos fan off season, they were told you're going to be 4-12. You go, well, we improved by all these positions. Russ probably got injured. I mean, you have to legit think that. Now we know it's not, and it's funny, but I mean, right now, at least for me, I think I would assume the only assumption I think that wouldn't have gone correctly is at 13-3 right now. I would have assumed we probably would have lost to the Bills. We would have lost to the Bengals. I would have assumed at 13-3, I wouldn't be this terrified with what our defense is doing because clearly we're doing something to get it, where we have that good of a record. But sure as fuck, we wouldn't have lost to the Colts in my assumptions either. I would have assumed either San Fran, or actually, I probably would have assumed we would have lost to the Chargers if we were at 13.
Somebody inside your division.
Yeah, exactly. And that probably, I could have even assumed we lose a couple games in our division because of how hyped up the conference was preseason, and me with my big head think that we're going to be better than the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Bills would have still worried me, but yeah, I mean that probably would have been about my only assumptions at the Chiefs at 13-3 right now. What about the Vikings with your? If I would have told you preseason Vikings are going to be 12-4 going into the final week of the season, what would your assumption have been?
So I thought before the beginning of the season, as you know, I bet on the Vikings to win the North. So I don't know if I'd expect it to be 12-4. I would expect the NFC North race to have been a little closer. Maybe they were 10-6. But I'd be a little surprised that it was this good.
I know at the beginning of the season, I think I predicted 13 wins for the Vikings, just looking at their schedule. So I guess not a huge surprise, I guess. But the biggest one to me is that we have the worst defense in the NFL. We're potentially win 13 games and have the number 32 defense is pretty incredible. So, yeah, am I surprised?
Would you guys have assumed that you'd have a positive point differential?
Yeah.
With that record, I would think so.
I wouldn't assume every game was a heart attack giving game where it was one possession.
At 12-4, you probably assume this is the year I don't have the heart attacks. We are, like you said, you predicted 13 wins. This is going to be the easiest year. We got JJ, we got Kirk, we've got Coach Cock, we're ready to go. And every week we're just like our classic now squeaked by term. Every single week.
Every win's by 20 points, every loss is by 3, not the other way around.
My favorite today was I did my best to stay off of social media because after a loss like this, it's just nothing but crazy people. I follow on Twitter a few Vikings fans that kind of run their own podcasts and stuff like that, and usually they're pretty decent. One of them, though, was we got to get rid of KOC. He obviously doesn't know how to run an offense, or we at least need to get a better offense coordinator. It's like he just won the Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator. He's in his first season as a head coach at 12-4. Yeah, the guy knows nothing. Like,
clearly. He just won your fucking division like you would have been ecstatic for preseason.
Yeah, if he would have came in and they were, say, 4-12 and just looked totally incompetent and like this. That's 1 year you get hire. This hire was a swing and a miss, but that's not the case.
It's not Nathaniel Hackett. Come on.
Yeah,
I say if you were 8-9 or 7-10, you get rid of him at that point as well. It's like you already have your franchise quarterback, your top receiver. You have the pieces, and if you couldn't make that work together, just get rid of Zimmer 2.0 and just move on to the next guy. But you have. You won the North. You had a chance at the 1 seed. You're one of the top teams in the NFC right now, and you want to get rid of them? Okay, that's people not knowing what they have is good for them. It's like when people were talking about getting rid of Campbell after this year for Iowa State. It's like, okay, do you not realize where the fuck we were 8 years ago? No.
Do you remember Gene Chizik?
Yeah. Okay, just call them your tits. We'll be fine. We'll work through it. So.
It's crazy how one game in a game that really does not. I've said this before. Has nothing to do with your personal life. It's something we watch on Sundays. It doesn't affect you at all. Like, just chill a little bit. Just enjoy it. We're 12-4. You don't need to clean the house out. Jesus.
Yep. I agree.
In the words of Aaron Rodgers, just relax. Okay.
In the words of Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca, baby.
RELAX. Relax, folks.
Well, you boys ready to wrap this thing up?
What? Real quick, what do you think Joey's assumption would be if he heard 6-10 right now?
Well, they remember at the beginning. Yeah, remember at the beginning of the year, he wanted the number 1 pick.
Yeah. He would assume correctly that they pissed it down their legs by not getting the number 1.
Yeah, they pissed it down their legs by winning too much.
I think he actually called that shit at the beginning of the year. He goes, I want him to have the number 1 seed because I don't think Ritter's it, but we'll probably go enough where we're getting the I think he called that word for word if we could go back and listen to it and just figure it out.
Yeah, he said something about Mariota's just good enough to win us enough games to not get us the 1 seed.
Really fuck that at the end.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go, it's New Year's Eve. You guys got any special plans for this year?
Probably travel
resolutions
more,
for this
mostly
year?
because I've already got a couple plans already. So I mean, it's the easiest resolution. Travel more. I'm going to Phoenix this week, so we actually,
Wow.
yeah, and say we won't have amateur hour on Thursday. We're not sure if we're just canceling it or if we're going to do it on Tuesday. But
This week?
Joey said he's in for it tomorrow.
Oh,
okay.
I did not see this message.
Go to Discord. Come on.
I will admit that I am pretty bad at checking Discord.
I don't blame you. But okay, well, I guess me and Joy might just have a quick playoff recap, but we'll do that amateur hour on Tuesday, and then it will not be Thursday.
Okay,
So
well,
if
if
you're
you're going
listening
to,
this,
do not forget to mention that this coming Sunday is the FCS National Championship, South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
okay.
I might
When
be
is
able
it?
to be
On Sunday?
Sunday the 8th, yeah.
All right, let's get those point spreads, and we'll put some money in, and we'll all go ears up. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
all right.
when we hit them with the socials,
hit them with the socials, Brian. Let's get out of here.
Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Heartland Pulse, Facebook, YouTube, Pulse the Heartland. If you want to catch Joey's thoughts or any of the other blogs that we're submitting and several other people, you can catch them at In the Zone. That's going to be their normal website is inthezone.studio. Twitter is at In the Studio 1. Boom.
All right. Thanks for following along and chatting with us here. We do appreciate it. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow for amateur hour.
We will,
and then
for sure.
We'll see you Wednesday for Trent's
picks. Our last regular season road to 272.
Right now, I would say I don't think this Bills game is going to affect that much. Trent has a 7-game lead, so he is going to win for sure. Unless you have the biggest collapse I've ever seen, which could technically happen, but
stranger things have happened.
True.
He's going to copy every single pick of yours, Bryant.
Yeah,
that's why I don't do them until an hour beforehand, because I know he won't have time to copy them at that point. So, and then I have a 2-game lead on Clark. So really, right now, I think the biggest thing is who's going to get second place.
Yeah, we're all playing for second except for me.
Well, there's a couple others that aren't playing for second.
That's true.
I didn't want to bring that up.
I will.
What a dick.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. All right. Thanks for following along, and tune in tomorrow for amateur hour and Wednesday for the road to 272. See you next week.
Appreciate you.